A very good evening and a warm welcome back from Nakasero, the residence of the fallen soldier, General Elito, and welcome to tonight's newscast. I'm Lauryn Kazimoto and my colleague Muhammad Mugalu on sign language interpretation. Now, we start off with our first headlining story this evening. The budget speech at every beginning of every financial year is a very special moment and a window to what should be expected economically and financially in the coming financial year. Now, the budget is often read out by the cabinet minister in charge of the Ministry of Finance. It is on record that Uganda has once upon a time had a head of state who doubled as a minister of finance. In today's episode of Commander-in-Chief Files Tonight brings you the president of Uganda, Dr. Apollo Milton Obote, reading out the budget in 1983. Take a look.
Welcome to Commander-in-Chief Files, and in this episode of CNC Files, we bring you what the President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Dr. Apollo Milton Obote, said when he presented his budget speech to the Right Honourable Speaker, Cabinet, and to Ugandans who were listening in on Radio Uganda. The President emphasized the tremendous reduction in sugar, soap, and beer prices as compared to the nagging times just after the 79 war.
Mr. Speaker, examining the first two quarters of the fiscal year 1981-82, prices have been fluctuating to reflect demand and supply conditions. After considerable rises between April and June 1981, the prices of most commodities have tended to fall significantly below the pre-flood June 1981 levels. Due to the regularity in supply, sugar has performed best in the lot, declining by 50% of the pre-flood June level. The actual prices for imported sugar now vary between 150 shillings and 180 shillings per kilogram, compared to an average of 442 shillings in June 1981. The price of other basic commodities such as soap and salt also declined significantly, ranging between 15 to 37% over the 6-month period, that is July to December 1981. Beer prices declined steadily over the two quarters, with a current average of between 250 shillings and 300 shillings per half-liter bottle, depending on the brand and depending on where one buys it from.
The annual budget statement is an official statement by government that depicts the country's income and expenditure over a period of 1 year. It can also highlight tax cuts, increments, and the status of a budget, whether surplus or deficit. Uganda's gross domestic product, GDP, by then was $2.24 billion. Today, Uganda boasts of a GDP of $37.4 billion.
All right, moving on. Kazo district is mourning the passing of General Elito Mwine. Now, mourners are gathered at his ancestral home located in Mukuru Cell, Kazo district. The road leading to Mwine's home is currently being repaired in preparation for the burial slated for Tuesday this week.
Preparations for the burial of General Elito Mwine are underway at his home in Mukuru Cell, Kazo district, a few kilometers away from Mbarara city. Residents, with support of government and the army, are currently clearing the road leading to Mwine's home as part of the burial arrangements. A retired Justice of Supreme Court, Ezekiel Muhanguzi, a childhood friend of General Elito Mwine, is one of the mourners helping in burial arrangements at Mwine's home.
He was 8 years old. I'm slightly older than him by about 2 or 3 years. But for all the time I've known him, which is throughout my lifetime and throughout his lifetime, I have found him a very, very down-to-earth person. In spite of his high military honors, he was a down-to-earth person. He was an ardent Christian. He was a very active member in the Christian church, in the Church of Uganda, and even in other Christian churches. He has been able to serve in various non-military capacities. For example, he's been one of the active board members of Rushere Community Hospital, and so many others.
He says the foster general was a practicing Christian, corruption-free and friendly to whoever came to him.
And, down here in our local community at Mukuru in Kazo district, he has been a friend of everybody. His home has been open, very accessible, of course with the necessary checks, being a very high-ranking military officer. But he has entertained nearly everybody. His family, his relatives, his friends, and even ordinary citizens and residents of the area have been coming to his home for all sorts of concerns, both official and unofficial. And as you have known him in the country, he has been a very serious, a very strict disciplinarian.
The Archdeacon of Remikoma Church of Uganda, Venerable Reverend Benon Baraire, hailed General Mwine for his generosity and support to his home church.
Mwene kanisa jini yaba ishazi likibanza cyayo iryaha rwazwe umwanya ranka miliyoni maganasha sa nenzu y'umbuzi buraro hamwe ne kanisa none banyeta venarebo Reverend Baraire ninye saba diko n'umwanya.
General Elito Mwine's cousin, who is also a councillor representing Nyakashashara sub-county Chiruhura district, Andrew Rakishaija, says Mwine will be greatly missed by his relatives, village mates and the entire region due to his generosity.
Shot the first bullet in the bush war at Kabamba. We thank him. Since then, the first bullet he shot, it did a wonderful job in the whole country. We thank him for all he has tried to do in this country.
A number of residents are visibly touched by the death of General Elito Mwine, whom they say he has always stood with them. They say he always stood out in whatever he did, including in the military, where he has been a highly respected foster general.
The National Forestry Authority, in partnership with Kagadi leaders and community members, have partnered to restore central forest reserves and wetlands in Greater Chibale. The Kagadi Resident District Commissioner Benjamin Tumusime commends NFA and Worldwide Fund and the community, the media community, for promoting the restoration of Kangobe and Bugoma central forest reserves. We have more in this report.
Kagadi Resident District Commissioner Benjamin Tumusime demands for the restoration of wetlands and forests in the Greater Chibale. This was during celebrations marking Kagadi Chibale Community Radio 2 decades of broadcasting held in Kagadi town under the theme Witnessing the Role of Media in Promoting Environmental Conservation. The founder, Kagadi Chibale Community Radio, Mwalimu Musheshe, observed that global warming and climate change are real.
And of course now, because of environmental degradation, tied together with global warming, tied together with climate change, there are now a lot of diseases that are coming, especially viral diseases, bacterial diseases that are affecting animals and humans alike.
The NFA Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Tom Okero, who traversed various central forest reserves of Kagombe and Bugoma Forest, recently said over 70% of forest cover in the area have been depleted.
Today the temperature here was 30 degrees centigrade, which was not heard of in those days when we had good forest cover in Bunyoro sub-region. So I want to call upon everybody. Let us embrace the forest conservation, let us embrace the restoration, but let us also strike that balance of making forestry contribute to the livelihoods of the people and to the economic development of our nation.
Residents and leaders in the affected areas of Bujogoro, Kagadi, Nyamrunda, Mohoro, Chaterekera and Chirianga sub-counties thanked the community radio for sensitizing them on values of preserving environment.
Since 2000, this power has been encroaching slowly.
Recently, the Greater Chibale leaders, NFA and Environmental Police mounted an operation to rid the area of encroachers.
Now, domestic violence has been singled out as a major contributor to the culminative numbers of street children in Kampala. The director of the Initiative for Vulnerable Children, Irene Namuyombia, says COVID-19 pandemic and high inflation affecting service delivery to vulnerable children because of limited resources. Now, she calls on government to extend assistance such as education and food relief to enable the vulnerable street children improve their livelihoods.
16-year-old street child from Kabale district, Shafik Turinabwe, says when his mother died, he became homeless because his father resorted to drinking alcohol.
Today,
17-year-old Enoch Nuwamanya from Dowero district is among the vulnerable children on Kampala streets because of domestic violence and poverty at his parents' home. These voices represent many vulnerable children on streets who are calling on well-wishers and government to rescue them from the street life. The director of Initiative for Vulnerable Children, Irene Namuyombia, says street children are casualties of tough times, poverty, loss of traditional values and domestic violence.
Abana bafuna okusomozebwa ne batokyalingibwa naddala ba step mother abayingiddemu kati omwana okwewala adduka akutaasa obulamu n'agenda asobole okudda ku kkubo asigaze obulamu ebiseera ebisinga. Abalala abantu babbye amataka g'abakitaabwe, babbye amataka g'abamama baabwe ne basigala ttayo n'asigala nga talina wayimidde wadde bwe yeekwata n'ajja ku street.
Namuyombia says she is overwhelmed by the number of street children that come to her to be rescued from street life.
Naye kati tukyalina buyambi buli abumala kuvaayo kulabira abaana bano nnyo nga kyandibadde kyetaagisa. Nkubiriza omulanga abantu bonna bonna batwakulu tuyambagaye tufeeyo okulanga tuyamba omwana w'eggwanga asobole okufuuka obuvunaanyizibwa.
All these were in Initiative for Vulnerable Children office at Musajja Rumba Village, Kampala Central, during the organization festivities of caring for poor urban children. Sodat Kai, Robert White.
The Diocese of West Ankole, in conjunction with Hallelujah Tours and Travel, have organized Christians' travel trip to Israel to learn how to carry out profitable agricultural business. The Bishop, West Ankole Diocese, the Right Reverend Nathan Ahimbisiwe, says that Uganda has good land and weather, but the public does not know how to use it well. The week-long tour of Israel has started this Sunday with a service at Chitara Church of Uganda, led by Bishop Nathan Ahimbisiwe.
Of 8 people are going from Uganda. We are going to Israel. We are going to learn from the agricultural farms in Israel. Israel is almost a desert, but people there are the best growers, they are best farmers in the whole world, with big farms and very huge farming. So we are going to benchmark from Israel, as you see, as you run, as you come and do, so that we see how we can increase the income on household level, but also on church level. Uganda, especially Church of Uganda, God has given us big lands on our churches. But how have we been using those lands? At times they are underutilized. So our going there, as we prepare this tour to Israel, which was prepared by Hallelujah Tour and Travels Company Limited, headed by Tom and Peron Ayimsibwe. They have organized it in such a way that we go and learn and benchmark. So when we come, we do. And we chase poverty out of household level, then out of the church. The church has been developed.
This time we have said let us include the component of agriculture, because we need to feed the soul, the mind and the body. So the purpose of going today, we are going to learn, get the technology, get whatever they are doing, for we do benchmarking, those good practices. When we come back here in Uganda, we expect to be implemented here, and other farmers maybe who don't have the chance to go for that tour can learn from these ones. Then those ones who want to go and learn, still there's an opportunity. We shall be doing it more frequently for all those people who are interested to go to Israel and see the good practices of agriculture. Since we have various farmers from various areas, from fishing to dairy farming, poultry, botanical, and generally the whole agriculture. So if you want to know how to market, if you want to know how to process your products, if you want to know how to keep your products, if you want to know what are the technologies for productions, if you want to know how to improve your soil, if you want to know the dairy, all that is in the whole package. So you go and choose where your interest is.
UBC News Tonight. Now, the new governor, Turkana County, Jeremiah Ekamais Lomurukai, has promised to invest in transport and communication infrastructure along the border to facilitate prompt security operation and boost cross-border transport and trade. This was during his swearing-in ceremony and his deputy, Dr. John Lo Peyok, at a function held at Ekalis Center in Turkana County that attracted dignitaries from Uganda, South Sudan, Ethiopia, and residents.
Turkana County is the largest county in western part of Kenya, bordering Ethiopia, South Sudan and Uganda. Residents of these three countries along the border are pastoralists, but due to the semi-arid harsh climate, most of these move to neighboring countries for pasture and water. While giving his maiden speech, the governor for Turkana County, Ekamais Lomurukai Nepotikan, promised that his government will invest in joint projects, mainly livestock, mass vaccination and water points at the borderlines.
Shared water banks and boreholes, livestock mass vaccination, education and health facilities along the borderlands.
He says investing in transport and communication infrastructure in areas along the border will be his priority.
In transport and communication infrastructure in the borderlands to facilitate prompt security operation and boost cross-border transport and trade.
The outgoing governor, Josephat Nanok, commended the neighboring communities for the unity.
The unity we have established that has brought us to this day. And I'm glad Governor Lauryn has just restated he is going to make sure that that unity moves forward so that we can be able to stabilize our region.
The Ugandan delegation was led by G County Member of Parliament in Kotido District, Peter Abrams Loki, who said that the current unity among the Matheniko, Turkana and the G at Kobebe is a blessing to the new leaders of the region.
Turkana, the G, the Dodos, the Matheniko are in Kobebe. 2 weeks. They have just decided that enough is enough. Now that gives you the chance to deliver your promises to the people.
South Sudan delegation was led by the governor, Eastern Equatorial State, and called for unity and improvement of unity and social services along border communities.
Deliver our services such as health, education, and veterinary services to our people along the borders, and also provide clean drinking water along our communities to the border. I was happy if you are.
This was during the inaugural and swearing ceremony of Governor for Turkana County and Deputy Governor Dr. Eros Lopeyok, held at a Kalis Center in Turkana County capital, Lodwar.
Do swear that I shall always truly and diligently
Lomrukai is the second governor after the first governor, Josephat Nanok, who served for 10 years. The function was attended by delegates from Uganda, South Sudan, Ethiopia, Turkana County, and across Kenya. Sudat Kaye. Maureen Yega, UBC News.
Youth in Karamoja sub-region want to be empowered and sensitized on their roles and responsibilities in development. They say this will reduce the monies lost in different government projects like youth livelihood programs. This was during the Mindset and Behavioral Change and Baseline Survey for Youth in Moroto and Napak districts conducted by the Operation Wealth Creation personnel.
Karamoja sub-region is among the areas with highest number of people living in poverty, with many youth surviving on stone quarrying, mining, while others are participating in cattle rustling. The Director of Operation Wealth Creation at the Office of the President, Damali Sylvia Owori, has met different youth in Moroto and Napak district at Boma grounds in Moroto municipality to devise ways of improving.
We are on a mission to do both to publicize the parish development model and also do a mindset change for the youth specifically. We're going to be on the ground until this is a mapping exercise, after which we shall go back and do a plan and then come back and see how we're going to implement.
At the meeting, some youth decried prolonged drought which affects agriculture, being abused in mining sites, unemployment, among others.
Through my sunshine, and when we grow vegetables, so we don't have water. That is our challenge. So if the government of Uganda can bring irrigation system to Karamoja, specifically in Moroto, another affected district. So at least irrigation system will help us. For us who are doing agriculture.
Many young people have been engaged in mining sites as workers. They are working there and they are paid at a low. They are being paid in low prices. And secondly, when you go to mining sites, you will find that the mining people who are employing these young girls are even using them.
Relatedly, youth commended the government for developmental programs like parish development model, but decried lack of transparency, especially among local leaders.
We thank the government of Uganda for bringing the parish development model up to the community level. So we thank it so much.
They call young people, they tell them now be organized in such a number. The government of Uganda is ready to support you. When the young people gather in and give their opportunities to respond to the YMP, you find that in few time, not even a year, just months, people are being chased, they need money. Many youth we have lost who have been running on mountains, dodging because they don't have anything to submit.
The Karamoja Region Operation Wealth Coordinator, Kano Amos Oyuji, explained the challenges they have faced.
The enterprises that were selected within the circles didn't match what the community wanted. And the reimbursement of money to those circles delayed a bit. For example, like the district of Morota up to now, they haven't received that money.
Youth say there is a need of empowering and sensitizing the youth on their role in development.
PDM to come as a transparent notice to the people, to the young people. Let the young people be empowered and sensitized on their roles and responsibilities. Look at
some of the projects which they can really manage to handle to support themselves and their families, because most of them they are school dropouts and most of them they have never attended school.
Owori explains the findings during the youth meeting.
We found that there's a lot of talent, especially in music and acting. We have seen the challenges of they cannot farm. They have a lot of land, but they cannot farm on the land because they don't feel secure there.
This was during the Mindset and Behavior Change and Baseline Survey for Youth in Moroto and Napak District, conducted by Operation Wealth Creation, Sudat Kaye, and Maureen Yiga, UBC News.
Now, parents in Kasese district have been asked to focus on grooming their children in a manner that helps them have a brighter future. This was communicated by a commissioner from the Ministry of Education and Sports, Ms. Safina Musene, during the Bwera School of Nursing and Midwifery that was held in Bukonzo West County, Kasese district.
A commissioner from the Ministry of Education and Sports, Safina Musene, has urged graduates to apply skills attained to improve livelihoods and follow principles and skills learned to improve their people's livelihoods. Safina Musene was addressing graduates of Bwera School of Nursing and Midwifery this weekend.
I have encouraged parents to groom their children. If we have good parenting, regardless of whether you are rich or poor, children will not go into unwanted behaviors. So I want to call upon the parents once again, especially the fathers, be there for your daughters. Provide that man image in this girl's life that no man will come to confuse her.
She says government has put in place various training institutions to help address the gaps in the health sector.
Having 251 graduating from this institution is a blessing because it has added on the bank that we have been having for qualified nurses and midwives. Tomorrow, if we get clinical officers qualifying, then they will be adding on the more clinical officers that we have. So are the radiographers, so are the dentists, so are the medical doctors, and so on. So through training, government is ensuring that we produce what is adequate for our country.
The principal of Bwera School of Nursing and Midwifery, Eve Ithungu, said the school accommodates many vulnerable students who need special attention from the government.
In case need arises, government should assist us in case there are any scholarships that they can give to our underprivileged students, any financial support, so that even the underprivileged can obtain their objective to the end.
She advised the graduates to stick on the nursing ethics if they are to serve the nation properly.
They are moving out, and like I earlier said, this is the end of academic work. but it is a start of another higher hill. So as they move out, one thing they should remember that our patients are our customers and they are our bosses. One thing we maintain as nurses are the nursing ethics.
The graduates thanked their parents and tutors who have taken them through the rigors of education.
Religious leaders have asked students going back to school to put God first in everything they do to succeed in their exams. During the Youth Sunday service at Healing Streams of Life Church, Kungu, Pastor Perez Mugabe urged students to observe obedience and stay focused while trusting in Jesus.
I pray for those ones who are going back to school, that God will protect you from diseases, from sicknesses. And your performance is going to change. Your health is changing. And you are going to see favor like never. And the truth is that the youth of Uganda who are listening to me right now, there is something you need to do today. You are going to pass your exams like never in Jesus' name. You will be successful in the systems of the world, but again successful in the kingdom of God, in the system of God. As many who are working there, like, whoa, the youth are many, the youth is many, so where should we go? Which direction are we going? Somebody here, you must rise up in this time, because your time is now to walk in your calling of determining how tomorrow is going to look like in Jesus' name.
UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we return with much more stories.
Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
Forget last season. Forget the oohs and ahs. Forget every moment that stole the show, because the real show is here on GoTV. It's the new season. It's action-packed and it's going to be non-stop football. With over 1,000 games from more than 7 leagues and cup competitions plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seat in the house this new football season. Get a GoCoder with 1 month of GoTV value for only 25,000 Uganda shillings and enjoy non-stop football. GoTV Uganda. Love it.
Children are a special gift, one we must protect and nurture with care. Ensuring your child has a birth certificate opens doors for them that would otherwise be hard to access, such as immunization, school admission, or simply proving their age and belonging. Let us do our duty as parents and guardians by registering our children and getting them birth certificates. For more information, visit the NERA office closest to you or call the toll-free number 0800-211-700. This message is brought to you by NERA.
Enjoy more GBs for the same price on Airtel. Shareable using to Gabane. We have increased GBs across all your favorite packs. Now, 4 GB is at 10,000 shillings and 10.5 GB at 22,500 shillings, all valid for a week. For the heavy data users, enjoy 24 GB at 50,000 shillings and 50 GB at 100,000 shillings, all valid for a month. Dial *175# or use the My Airtel app to buy these and more affordable weekly and monthly data bundles on Airtel, the smartphone network.
I remember the lockdown, when the streets were empty and our lives disrupted, when businesses closed and our livelihoods hung in the balance. Hospitals were full. We lost loved ones, jobs, and hope. Our children couldn't study anymore. we cannot let this happen again. We should not go back. Get fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and join the millions of Ugandans who are already vaccinated.
Cooking with electricity is now affordable. Cook your beans. Avoid smoke.
Sayaka. Cooking with electricity is now so affordable with the Fumba tariff set by the Electricity Regulatory Authority. With the Fumba tariff, you can now buy up to 70 units of Yaka at a reduced price of 412 Uganda shillings per unit after consuming your first 80 units of the month. For more information, contact the Electricity Regulatory Authority on 0200 506 000.
The Universal Periodic Review is a process under the United Nations human rights system which involves the peer review of the human rights records of all United Nations member states every 4 years. As the coordinating entity, the National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders Uganda, in partnership with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, has organized a 2-day stakeholder engagement under the theme, the UPR in Uganda, towards a collective and coordinated action in implementing the UPR recommendations. The chief guest will be the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable General Abubakar JJ Odong. This will take place on the 30th to the 31st of August 2022. For more information, contact the National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders Uganda on email info@hrdcoalition.ug.
Meet Professor Petero. He knows something every hustler in UG is gonna love.
Oh, see. You say I was just trying to get the documents to register for Airtel Money.
You don't need the documents. You just say for register.
What's going on here?
He sells things from the shop, and behind my back, he gets the money and gives it to his girlfriends.
But just get Airtel Money Pay so that all money comes direct to your business wallet and only you, the owner, have access to it. Just dial *185 *10 hash and now you are on. No waiting. Huh? This insanity is sweet. Give them also.
I only take Airtel Money Pay. It's easy and secure.
Yes, become a safer and more efficient cash-free business today. Easy. Not mixing your business money with your Kameza money. Now, that's efficient. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back from that break. And now into the world of business. A majority of members of parliament are welcoming the idea of making legal the concept contract farming between producers and buyers. This, they say, will help in addressing the setback of price fluctuations which farmers suffer at all levels. The contract farming bill, seeking to address the plight of commercial farmers, was introduced on Tuesday by Kimanya Kabonera constituency member of parliament Abed Bwanika.
Farmers have cried.
No support.
Agro producers have lamented.
We sell it as a grain.
And even ranchers have complained.
We used to work by ourselves.
They start with tilling, plowing and cultivation, ending with harvesting, but sometimes with probability. The high expectations that often come with high yields, unfortunately end up with unfavorable prices. These are some of the challenges that the upcoming bill on contract farming is seeking to solve.
The motion being rooted by Dr. Abed, Honorable, is about contract farming.
As the process takes course, seconders of the motion insist on this new farming proposal as the way to go.
Contract farming has majorly been done with plantation crops like sugar, cane, and tea. in Kakira, Kinyara, like that. But we want farmers to bring their land together in a block and they agree with the buyer. For example, maize.
It's like if I'm growing my rice, I'll be supplying at 10,000 per kilo, and even if by the time of harvest the price has gone down, still they'll follow the agreement, and therefore I think contract farming benefits our farmers.
Contract farming is an agricultural production carried out according to an agreement between a buyer and farmers. In the case of Uganda, the draft bill seeks to regulate block farming, where owners of different packages of land can consolidate for one production purpose.
You'll be assured of revenue, you'll be assured of incomes, and better incomes for that matter, so that your labor is not divided, but you bring your labor together and concentrate and produce according to the way the buyer wants it.
Since they have their small portions of land, they can come together and each one has still ownership on their land. And if they have ownership, they can agree to put their land together and grow their crops.
Where I come from, for example, we normally grow rice, soybean. After growing rice in large quantity, we do not find those ones to buy. Farmers are very ignorant about the market. And when we go into contract farming, where farmers are aware that when we grow rice in large quantity, the buyers are available.
However, other members of parliament have some reservations. Good as the program may sound, Bugasha County Member of Parliament Pius Wakabi has poked some holes.
At one time maize was at 300 shillings. Right now it's almost 2,000. So imagine if that farmer had contracted the buyer at 300, the farmer would have lost around 1,700. So it is only good that the farmer will be assured of the market. But when it comes to pricing of the farmer's product, in most cases the farmers lose out.
The proposed bill comes at a time government is in the initial stages of implementing the recently adopted and launched parish development model. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Stakeholders in the farming sector have appealed for a reduction of taxes on agricultural material, elimination of fake chemicals on the market, among others. This was during an interview with agriculturalists at Mityana Agriculture Institute in Mityana Municipality. We have the details.
Farmers are being advised to take the advantage of ongoing rain season to plant quick maturing crops, and where there is drought, to irrigate gardens using a drip method to ensure sustainable food production. The proprietor, Mityana Grovet Institute, John Kintu, wants government to reduce taxes on agricultural inputs to enable every farmer to access them.
So we are appealing the government to assist the Ugandans with cheap inputs. Like the irrigation machines, certified seeds, the herbicides, because these days things are very expensive. You go to the market, you find a tool or a machine used in irrigation when it's very expensive.
Kintu, however, commends government and the Eastern African community countries for supporting the agriculture sector for better produce. He said the institute trains students on modern methods of farming and animal husbandry, and also using organic fertilizers for a good harvest.
It's very short, and you have to make sure that such a short season, you use certified seeds, you apply fertilizers. You remember we have two types of fertilizers. We have organic and inorganic. So here at our school, Mityana Grovet, we are using organic fertilizers. We are using cow dung. We are using leftovers from our poultry farms.
A trainer of animal husbandry in Mityana Grovet Institute, Aizuka Moses, says they train students in modern methods of managing livestock and the use of drip irrigation for animal fodder growth.
We have another pasture
which are spaced by 1 meter and 1 meter. Reason is we need them to be very well displayed on the ground, such that we can feed our animals very well. On the side of crop can be done wide, where you find that even time for drought, we can again use our manure, again we can use our irrigation.
Joseph Oko, Salon Kaswante, UBC.
Isimba Hydropower Dam is now operating at above 75% following fixing of defaults that had disrupted its operations. Engineers at Isimba Hydropower Station were this weekend briefing the Prime Minister, Robina Nabanja, who paid an impromptu working visit by the dam located in Kayunga.
Isimba Dam site engineer Bridget Lakwanye says 3 units out of 4 have been rectified and are running. The electrical engineer was briefing Premier Nabanja, who had paid an impromptu visit to Isimba Dam.
We appreciate that the Prime Minister has visited Isimba High Dam after fault. However, her visit may not solve all the challenges because Ugandans now understand a few challenges. One, that is the deemed energy which they are paying for but not transmitted and distributed. 2, there is high charges, high prices for electricity units. So however much the Prime Minister has visited, but we do encourage her to work together with the technicals and the other agencies that are in the structure of distribution of electricity, like they use ECTL, that is responsible for distribution of electricity. After being generated from Isimba, UTCell, as it distributes, must also work hand in hand with the UMEME that connects it to the last final user.
The engineers took the Prime Minister on a guided tour of the dam to establish the damage that was caused by the mishap that occurred recently.
We have found out that 3 units are now functional, and the 4th unit is under repair by our own engineers. That's a very good point I want to make. I found a young girl, an engineer from Makerere, called Nasari, and I envied her and said, oh God, these are our own children who are doing this work. The situation is coming back to normal. According to the engineers here and the Uganda Electricity Generation Company, we are no longer importing power. We have power generated here.
Nabanja, after inspecting the dam, assured the country that everything is being done to rectify the situation and there is no need for worry, and lauded Ugandan engineers who have worked tirelessly to rectify the anomaly. Nabanja says that she will convene a meeting this week to discuss how they identified defects and challenges. Nabanja was accompanied by the Ministers of State for Education, Dr. Chrysostom Muyingo Lugorobi for Finance, and Alice Kaboyo for Wero Renzori. Later in the day, visited Kayunga Regional Referral Hospital to assess the services offered.
Uganda Landowners Association welcomes you to the Land Use Exhibition, the first of its kind in Uganda. Do you want to learn how to use and earn from your land, or you need information on how to manage your land? Come and be part of this exhibition, which will start from the 31st of August to the 1st of September at Umasho Grounds, Nakawa Multipurpose Hall. Don't miss a session which will tackle land matters in board discussions at only 5,000 shillings. Small and large-scale business owners, you're invited to showcase your commodities. To be part of this exhibition, call 0701 111 401 or 0772 446 507. The Land Use Exhibition is organized by the Uganda Landowners Association, sponsored by Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, UBC.
Fun is our flavor. When we're together, the vibe is pretty alright. Our taste is pretty awesome. We are Uganda's #1 fruity refreshment. Enjoy Mirinda Fruity, Uganda's #1 fruity refreshment.
Oh, Susan, I want to propose to Rose. Yes, and this time I am serious.
Have you guys had sex?
Duh, of course.
And have you had sex without using condoms?
Hey, nga you're curious.
I'm more concerned. Are you having sex with other people?
Hey, hello, is this an interview or what?
No, just things you should think about. Do you know Rose's HIV status?
Okay, this is serious. Should I be worried?
It is actually serious. Do you know your HIV status?
I think I am safe. Many times we get into situations that put us at risk of HIV. However, the first step to ending HIV is getting tested and knowing your results.
It's Time Up HIV. Call 0800-211-046 or text 8080 toll-free for more information about how to prevent HIV.
This message is brought to you by Ministry of Health with support from USAID.
Leaders who care create a good learning environment.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
Princess!
Is there a problem?
Honey, relax. There'll be no more worries about SMSs, phone calls, sijui data, because daddy has got an Airtel smart plan. There is even Airtel TV. It means no worries.
Enjoy life worry-free with Airtel Smart Plans, shareable among 5 people. Use every day and pay.
Welcome back, and now into the world of sports. Heathens were last evening crowned champions of the first ever Arua Rugby Sevens, the third round of the Nile Special Sevens, after beating Ginger Hippos 10-0 at Greenlight Stadium, the home of Ondukparaka Football Club.
The Arua Sevens semi-final that was almost washed by torrential rain at the Greenlight Stadium in Arua. Heathens walloped Pirates 14, while Ginger Hippos thumped Arrogant Slogan Club Makerere Impis 17-5 to book the final with Heathens. Nile Special Connections manager John Paul Semakula with other dignitaries graced the final that was a repeat of Entebbe Sevens. Heathens settled the first half with 5-0 lead thanks to Joachim Kisano's try, while Malcolm Okero shut Ginger Hippos with a second half late try to give Heathens a back-to-back circuit win.
It's been a great show for us, and we are willing to fight for other circuits that are coming around. Though they were looking at us as underdogs, but then we are ready to fight for anyone who comes across us. Heathens is a bigger team. We last won the circuit, the 7 circuits in I think 2013. But then these young boys have showed that they are willing and they are ready to play for the team and to put in the hard shift for the club. We are
12 teams, including 2 invasional teams in names of Nile Leopards, the hosts, and Gulu Falcons, took part in the one-day tournament. Heathens took 500,000 shillings and a trophy back home with 56 points top of the table. With 4 rounds to go, Black Pirates is second with 54 points, while Ginger Hippos is third with 51 points, and defending champion Scobs are seventh with 30 points. First ever Arua Sevens serves as the third round of the 2022 NAL Special Sevens.
Well, that's all we had for you for this first edition, but do join us in our second edition with more stories. I'm Lauryn Kazimoto and Muhammad Mugalun Sign Language Interpretation. We will see you at 10.